Hey boys and girls, my name is Miss Jimerson. I'm the 4th grade math teacher at Cypress Point University Elementary, and I'm here today doing some more lessons. This lesson is Module 1, Lesson 4. So today we are going to be reading and writing multi-digit numbers using base 10 numerals, the number names, and expanded form. So basically what we are doing is we are looking at numbers in different forms. So we're going to be looking at expanded form, word form, and we're going to be looking at sum on a place value chart. All right, so the first thing that we always want to do is an application problem. So I'm going to read through this application problem, and then we're going to solve it. So it says there are about 41,000 Asian elephants and about 470,000 African elephants left in the world. About how many Asian and African elephants are left in total? Now, just looking at that word problem, there's something that's really important that this word keeps showing up in this word problem. And that word or that key phrase is going to be about. Whenever we see that word about or hear the word about in math, that's going to be referring to rounding, right? So let's look at those numbers again. So it says there are about 41,000 Asian elephants. So if we think about that number in standard form, because this is word form, that's going to look like this. So there are about 41,000 Asian elephants and about 470,000 African elephants. So if we were to look at that in standard form, I'm just going to write it down here. That would look something like this. 470,000, or about 470,000. Now, the question here says about how many Asian and African elephants are left in total. Now, there's another key word right here. That word total lets me know that I'm going to be using addition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my two numbers here, my two rounded numbers, and I'm going to add them up. So let's do that. So I have 470,000 plus 41,000. And again, just going to add those up. So let's start in the ones place. We've got 0 plus 0, which gives us 0. Again, in the tens place, we have a 0. Hundreds place, also a 0. Now let's look at the thousands place. 0 plus 1 gives me 1. Now let's move to the 10,000s. 7 plus 4 gives us 11. So I know that I can keep my 1 in my ones place, but I need to regroup that 1 over to the 100,000s place. And then 4 plus 1 gives us 5. So whenever we add those two rounded numbers up, or estimated numbers up, we get about 511,000 elephants in all, or total. All right, let's move on. All right, next we're going to do a fluency activity. It's called Numbers in Different Base 10. And we need to always think about this. Whenever we're doing place value, we're always going up times 10. All right, so let's look at this first one. This first one says 5,000 equals blank. And then it says to say the number in standard form. So if we had a place value chart on our PowerPoint, and we had 5 place value discs in the thousands place, our value would just be 5 thousandths. And the way to say that in standard form is just 5,000. So it kind of sounds the same, 5 thousandths, like the place value discs. In standard form, it is just the numbers 5,000. Let's look at another one. Next one is 9 10,000ths. So let's think about that. If we're on a place value chart, and we have 9 place value discs in the 10,000s place, I know that I would need to count them by tens, right? So let's think about that. If I had 9 discs and each of them was worth 10,000, I would need to count again by 10. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So that would be 90,000. So in standard form, it just looks like this. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. what I'm first showing you is unit form. Okay, unit form, and we've talked about this before. Unit form is where you have a digit, but it has the place value word behind it. So like 5 thousandths, 9 ten thousandths. So again, that's unit form, just to remind you. All right, the next one, 347 thousandths. Let's think about that. It shows it's in the thousands place because it has the place value word of thousands. But I definitely would not want to put 347 place value discs in one place on my chart. I would definitely need to spread those out. So this one's a little bit trickier. It's just they're trying to see if you're really paying attention here and really know your place values. So that 347 thousandths would just turn into 347,000, which would mean we would have 3 place value discs in the 100,000s, 4 in the 10,000s, and 7 in the thousands place. Clear that ink. All right, now this one, it says, what is the value of the 1? So here I've provided the place value chart, and I've just put digits in each place value. So we need to discuss the value or how much each digit is worth in order to make it into different forms of the number. So if the 1 is in the thousands place, that means it is worth 1,000. So I'm just going to squeeze that in there. Okay, let's move to the hundreds place. I have 7 in the hundreds place. So again, if I had 7 place value discs in the hundreds place, the value of that would be 700. Okay, to the tens place. I see that it has a 0. So basically I'm saying I have 0 tens. So if I have nothing in the tens place, the value is just 0. Now, not everyone puts the 0 there if the value is 0, but just for today's lesson, let's just put that 0 there so that we have something in every place value. And then the last one is the ones. I have 8 in the ones place. So if I have 8 place value discs in the ones place, the value is 8. Okay? All right, now we're going to make this into expanded form. And that's something that we haven't talked about yet. Expanded form just takes the place values of each place on the chart and it makes an addition sentence. Okay? Now we've already put the values of each of these numbers. We have the 1,000, we have the 700, of course we have the 0, and then we have an 8. So all we would literally need to do to make this an expanded form of the number is to make this an addition sentence. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that just above the place value chart. So my first place value, I see that the value there is 1,000. Okay, then I move to 700. Now again, we don't have to list the 0 in the addition sentence because it's not going to change that answer at all. So we could really skip over that in the addition part and just put the 8. So again, this is called expanded form. You have 1,000 plus 700 plus 8. Now, if you were to add all of those up, you're going to end up with the same number that we have here, 1,708. All right, let's keep moving on. All right, this time we have a number that's all the way over to that 10,000s place. So the first thing says to show the value of the digit below the chart. So again, let's start with our biggest place value. And I see that we have 2 in the 10,000s place. So let's think about that. If I had 2 place value discs in the 10,000s place, again, they're worth 10,000. So each of those is worth 10,000. So I'd have 10,000 and I would have 20,000. So that value, I'm just going to again squeeze that in there, it's going to be 20,000. Then I move to the thousands place. I see I've got 7 in the thousands place. So that value would be 7,000. Here we are to the hundreds place. I see that there are no hundreds or 0 hundreds. So again, I could just show that 0. But when we get to expanded form, remember, we don't have to add that in the addition sentence. All right, then we have 8 tens. So again, we think about 8 place value discs in the tens place. Again, counting by tens. So if we had 8 tens, that value is 80. And then the last place value is ones. And we have 5 ones. So that value is 5. So again, we have our values for each place value in the chart that we have labeled. All right, now it says to write this new number in expanded form. And that's what we did on the other slide, is when we added that addition, or put that addition sentence to create all the values. So let's do that. All right, so again, we want to start with the biggest place value. So we have 20,000 plus 7,000. And again, we can skip that 0. We really don't have to have that. Then we can go to 80 plus 5. So we have 20,000 plus 7,000 plus 80 plus 5. And again, guys, this is called expanded form. We're taking each of those place values and we're making an addition sentence. All right, clear the sink again. All right, we have another one. Again, also in the 10,000s place. So the first thing they want us to do is to show the value underneath each place value. So again, this time we also have 2 10,000s. So just like last time, 2 10,000s is the same as 20,000. So this one is a lot like the previous one. All right, then we have 7 in the thousands place. So we have 7,000. Then I have 800. So think about that, 8 in the hundreds place. The value would be 800. And then the tens place, I have 5 tens or 50. And then of course in the ones place, I see I have 0, but I still just want to show that I've represented each place value. So I would just put a 0 there. But again, guys, remember, we don't have to list that 0 in the expanded form. All right, so let's go ahead and make our addition sentence, or the expanded form of this particular number. So we'll just go on top of the chart this time. We'll start with 20,000 plus 7,000 plus 800. And then our last piece would just be plus 50. And again, remember, we don't have to add that 0 at the end because it has a value of 0, right? So we've got 20,000 plus 7,000 plus 800 plus 50. And if we put all those or combine all those together, we're going to come up with 27,850. All right, now, another type or another way that we can represent a number is in word form. And I just went ahead and put it on there. I just typed it in because it'd be a little bit easier than me trying to write it. But it's 270,850. Standard or word form, excuse me, just uses the words. So however you would say it, that's exactly how you would write it. Okay? Let's keep going. All right, this time I have the place value chart, but I don't have anything listed there. Okay, so we're going to do this one together. This one says, on your own, do 64,003. I'm just going to circle that so we can keep our minds on that particular number, 64,003. So let's think about what that number is going to look like in digits on the place value chart. So I have 64,000. So let's look at that word, 60. I know I'm going to be past the thousands because it says 64,000. So that 6 should not be in the thousands place. It should be in the 10,000s place. 60,000 right there. Then I have, in the thousands place, I should have 4. So there's 64,000. And then the only other part that I have to that is 3. So I don't hear that there are any hundreds in that. I don't see that there are any tens. So again, those are just 0. And the last place value will just be 3 in the ones place. All right, and just like before, they want us to put those values underneath each place value. So let's start with the 10,000. So I have 6 10,000s, which is going to be a value of 60,000. All right, then I move to the thousands place. I have 4 thousands, which gives me a value of 4,000. And again, hundreds and tens, I don't have any, so I could just label those as 0. And then in the ones place, I have 3 ones, so the value would just be 3. Now, at the bottom, I have to write our number in expanded form, written form, and standard form. So let's go ahead and just make our addition sentence for the expanded form. I'll try to write it maybe up here somewhere for the written form. And then standard form, we've actually already got the standard form. It is right here. It's just those digits or those numbers, okay? So let's make that expanded form sentence. So the first part is going to be 60,000 plus 4,000 plus, and again, I can skip over those hundreds and tens, plus 3. So 60,000 plus 400 plus 4,000, excuse me, guys, plus 3. All right, and then written form, again, I said I'm just going to put it up here, probably a little bit easier for me. So we would have 64,003. And sorry, it's kind of squeezed in there, but that would be our word form. And then again, I already told you that the standard form is the 64003. Okay, let's do this number. This time they want it in standard form and word form. So you see, or you should see, that they gave it to us in expanded form. So they've already taken care of one of those forms for us. We need to figure out the other 2 ways. All right, so if we're going to put it in standard form, that means we're going to actually have to put that expanded form addition sentence together to see exactly what those the digits would look like. So let's start here. Typically, if I have one like this, I might start in the ones place. It might make it a little bit easier to work from the back of the number to the front, because some students seem to get confused when they have so many pieces and they're trying to figure out that standard form. So let's start from the ones place. So I see that I have 3 ones, so that's going to be my last digit. Then I have 7 tens, or 70, so that would be in the tens place, right in front of that 3. Okay, so I've done my ones and my tens. I have hundreds, or 500s, so that just goes in front of that. Then I move to the thousands. Now, if I didn't have any thousands, I could just put a 0. But I see that I have 8 thousands. So again, just working from back to front, just to create that number. It's just a little bit easier to work from the back to the front. And then, let's see, do I have any 10,000s? I see all I have left is 700,000. I don't have any 10,000, so I need to represent that place value with a 0. And then in the 100,000s, I've already said I have 700,000. So the way that we would read this large number is 708,573. Now, the last thing they want us to do here is to do it in word form. And I told you earlier that word form is exactly how you would say that number. You just put it in words. Okay, so we have 708,573. So again, I'm just going to put it down here. 708,000 . 573. Okay, so in word form, 708,573. Good job, you guys. All right, let's do another one. This, again, they gave it to us in expanded form. We need to put it in word form first and then in standard form. Okay, so we're still doing both of those forms. All right, so again, remember I said it might be easier to work from the ones and go up just to build that number. Sometimes, again, this can get kind of confusing for some students. So I see that I have 3 in the ones place. I have 10, so basically I have 1, 10. So I have 1 in the tens place. Do we see that we have any hundreds here? I don't see any hundreds, so I need to hold that place value with a 0. Then I can move to my thousands place. I see that I have 3 in the thousands place. And then our last one is 50,000 or 5 10,000s. So in the 10,000s place, I would just have a 5. So our number, the way that we would say that is 53,013. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in word form exactly how I just said it. So 53,013. All right, you guys, so we have it in expanded form, word form, and standard form. Okay, so let's just review over those 3 forms that we've used in today's lesson. So the standard form, where we use numbers only, use those digits only. So if you see that they ask you for a standard form, you're just looking for those digits or for those numbers. All right, word form uses words only. So exactly how you would say that number is exactly how you're going to write it. And then the last one, it was expanded form. And that's what uses each place value to build or to show that addition sentence. So you're using each of those place value values to show that number. All right, you guys, awesome job, and I'll see you again soon.